Greetings, Mathies. Today we are going to go over standard form and how we can change standard form into slope-intercept form. But first, let's go over the jokes. Okay, let me get set here. And we'll get her going. Okay. I know there's probably a quicker way to do this. Standard form. Okay, standard form is when an equation is in the form ax plus by equals c. Now, slope-intercept form is when y is by itself, and we've been graphing those for the last few blocks. Okay, so sometimes you'll have, always this will be a positive. B sometimes can be positive, sometimes it can be negative, and along with C. But in order for it to be a true standard form, A is going to be positive. So let's take a look at an example. 2x plus 3y equals 6. This is in standard form. X and y are on the same side. Your x term, the coefficient, is positive. So let's see how we are going to solve this to get it set equal to y and then get it graphed. Okay, let's see if I can. There we go. That's just a little bit better. So I'm going to draw a line down the equal sign, and this is really considered a literal equation. We ended up going over that in Unit 1, where we solve for a specific variable. We are going to solve for y. So I'm going to highlight that. So that's our goal, get y by itself. So the first thing I'm going to do is subtract the x term. So we have 2x here. So I'm going to subtract it on both sides of the equation. And that cancels out. I bring down my 3y. Now I'm going to rearrange this. Notice these are not like terms. Remember that y equals mx plus b for slope-intercept form. So I'm going to put the x term first, then I'm going to put the constant. So just always arrange it that way. So we're done with step 1. Step 2, divide all terms by the coefficient in front of the y. Now, if y was just by itself, we would be done, but we do have a coefficient other than 1, and it is 3. So I'm going to divide everything by 3, each and every term. And then we're going to simplify it. Okay, so this simplifies. We're left with y. Negative 2/3, that's going to be our slope. I'm just going to write it in front because that's going to let me know how to get that other point. And then 6 divided by 3, that does simplify to 2. Voila! Yes, yes, yes. It is now in slope-intercept form, and we know how to graph those. So down here on the graph, let's go ahead and graph it. Good, I can still see the equation there. So remember, we always plot the y-intercept first. Okay, so if I were to substitute 0 in, that would cover it up, and it even says y equals 2. This is your y-axis. I plot a point at 2. From here, I'm going to use my slope to get another ordered pair on the line. It says negative 2, so I'm going to go down 2 to the right 3. And then I'm going to draw a line through it. Put a couple arrows, and that one is complete. All right, let's go through one more example here. 2x minus 3y equals 6. I'm going to use a different color just because then I'll graph it. Again, this is called a literal equation. And we are solving for y. First step, subtract the x term. Now, you may think that this is the same equation, but notice that it is subtract. Okay, so we're going to see what happens with that. Okay, bring down your minus 3y, rearrange. We want the x term first and then the constant. Well, this time when we divide the coefficient, it is a negative 3. So be aware of that. Sure you have negative 3 on everything. And then we simplify. Okay, so this is good. Remember, that's our goal, is to just get it solved for y. We don't want negative y, just positive y. We have two negatives. A negative divided by a negative is a positive. And then 6 divided by negative 3 is negative 2. So it is going to give us a different line. Remember to plot the y-intercept first. Again, if I cover this up, look at there. Y equals negative 2. I plot that point. I take a look at the slope, and it's up 2 over 3. Now, it's kind of interesting. It's actually crossing at the same x-intercept, but it is two totally different lines. Let me get my arrows. All right, so that's what we will be practicing. Anytime it's in standard form, we're going to treat it like a literal equation and solve for y.